What is the person asking for? Okay, he is asking hire me. What does he mean by that? എന്താ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്? Employ him. He wants a job. He wants a job and he is falling at the feet of somebody to give him a job. Or boss, or employer. He wants a job, exactly. Is this the way that you get a job? If you want a job, you go and fall at the feet of somebody. Will you get a job like that? No. Yes. So all of you have responded. No, it is not the way you get a job. ഇങ്ങനെയല്ല നമുക്ക് ജോലി കിട്ടുക. So to get a job, there are yes, thank you for those responses. To get a job, there are certain prerequisites. Prerequisites means something that are required before. Yes. They are prerequisites. Yes, Sri Lakshmi. You need to be qualified. Yes. So if you want to, yes, Sharmili, interview. Yes. So there are certain steps that you have to go through. First of all, you should have qualifications. So even if you have qualifications, you are highly qualified. If you remain sitting at home, will you get a job? You will not get a job. Yes, you should have some experience working somewhere. Yes. Okay. You have to look for a job. Very good. You have to go through the vacancies that are advertised. നിറയെ വേക്കൻസീസ് ഞാൻ കണ്ടു. എല്ലാം കണ്ട് സന്തോഷമായിട്ടിരിക്കാൻ പറ്റുമോ? എൻ്റെ ക്വാളിഫിക്കേഷനുള്ള ഒരുപാട് വേക്കൻസി ഉണ്ട്, അപ്പം എനിക്ക് ജോലി കിട്ടുമായിരിക്കും എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ കിട്ടുമോ? No, I have to fill in an application form, attach my qualifying certificates, and send an application to the company. And after sending the application, then can I expect that I will immediately get a job? No. They may conduct a test paper. You may have to appear for the test. After the test, they will conduct a group discussion. You may have to appear for the group discussion. After the group discussion, there may be an interview. We may have to attend the personal interview, one-to-one interview. So there are many steps that we have to go through before we land ourselves in a good job. So the final step is the interview, and that is the most critical step. All the other things, it is all very common. We are all filling in the same kind of biodata. We are all filling in the same kind of job experience. We are all filling in the same kind of application forms. We are writing the same test. But when it comes to an interview, it is unique. Why is an interview unique? Because the same questions are not asked to every candidate. Each candidate gets different types of questions. There may be a similar pattern in the questions, but each interview is different. Suppose we record an interview that happens in a job fair. Every candidate will have a different experience in the job interview because it is a one-to-one experience. Okay? It's not one-to-many, it is one-to-one. A test paper is a one-to-many. It's a one-question paper which is given to everybody. But interview is not like that. So therefore, to participate in interview, requires a lot of skills. Very good. Everybody will have different performance. Yes, performance of individual is noticed. Every candidate will have their own answers. So according to that, the questions that follow will also be different. It is not a previously set question paper. According to the way the candidate is answering, the next questions will be different. So that is why the interview is a very tricky business. And in the speaking session, this is from the third module, it discusses interview skills. So that is what is discussed in this chapter of speaking. And let us look at the various steps that we have to go through before we get a job. So that is what is discussed. So once you have passed your diploma, what are the different things that you have to do in order to get a job? So most of the things you have already said. That what should we do? We should look for vacancies that are advertised. Okay. Then we should fill up an application form for the job. And when we send the application, we have to send the application, prepare an application. We have to write a resume of ourselves. We already learned how to prepare a resume. And you, along with the resume or the biodata, we write a job application letter. And both of these are sent to the employer. So once they get our job application letter, what will they do? They will call all the candidates for a test paper. So what is the test? The test is actually a kind of screening, or it is also called a filtering. That is what a test is. This is what they do in a test. They filter the knowledgeable candidates from the people who do not know about the subject. So that is the filtering that is done in the test. After the test, they conduct a group discussion in which all the candidates who have cleared the test will have a discussion with each other. And the employers will be just observing us. They will not talk to us. They will observe us. That is the second step. Group discussion. It is also shortly called GD. It is group discussion. And after the group discussion, which is again a kind of filtering, about 50% of the candidates from the group discussion are called in for an interview, which is the final step. So when you go for an interview, there are certain things that we have to take care of. So when you go for an interview, we have to prepare. Okay, how to prepare for an interview, that is also there. Yes, that's right. We have to introduce ourselves. We have to learn how to introduce ourselves. Exactly, that is correct. So we learn how to introduce ourselves. We have to have a clear knowledge of the subject, etc. So because the first thing that they ask in is to introduce ourselves. So that is called self-introduction. So this is something which every candidate can safely prepare well in advance. Yes, Surya. So ഇത് നേരത്തെ തന്നെ പ്രിപ്പയർ ചെയ്ത് പോകാൻ പറ്റിയ ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആണ്. വേറെ ഒന്നും ചോദിച്ചില്ലെങ്കിലും ഇതെന്തായാലും അവർ ചോദിക്കും. ക്യാൻ യു ടെൽ us സംതിങ് അബൌട്ട് യുവർ സെൽഫ് എന്നൊരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഷുവറായിട്ടും എല്ലാ ഇന്റർവ്യൂസിലും ചോദിക്കുന്ന ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ. But there are some things which are not required in an interview. When you go for an interview, what are the things that you should take with us when you go for an interview? What are the things which are not required in an interview? If you look at the word cloud here, see, there is no need to take the seminar and project reports, etc. when you go for the interview, because only the qualification certificates are required. We don't have to meet the employer before the Yes, certificates and CV. Those are the only things that are required. You also don't have to meet the employer before the interview. So these are things which are not required. We only require our certificates and our resume of the CV. Then, should we prepare a detailed description of the family? This is also not required. So certain things are required, certain things are not required. So normally when you introduce ourselves, in a normal self-introduction, we are likely to tell more things about our family. But in a job interview, when you introduce ourselves, we should tell minimum things about our family. We are describing ourselves, focusing more on our career. Okay, I'm talking about career. I'm not talking about my family. So it should be more career oriented. So that should be the way we present ourselves in a self-introduction. I'm not going for a marriage interview. Marriage interview is family, but we are not going for a marriage interview. I'm going for a job interview. So there is no need to give a very detailed description about the family. That is not something which the employers are interested in. So we don't have to give a very detailed description of the family. But we have to collect information about the company. How can we do that? We can visit their website. We can ask the people who work there. We can plan, we can also plan the journey to the venue. If you are asked to go to a particular place, you should know where it is. And you can practice some common questions which are likely to be asked. So there are many questions which are very commonly asked in interviews, which we can practice. And we can think about, we can have to bring about certain changes in ourselves. So by learning these questions, we understand that there are certain things that we have to change in our character so that we perform well in an interview. So in the next session, we will be discussing this last aspect. Most of this is the most important thing, because interview, as we discussed, is actually a question answer session. They will be asking us a lot of questions to which we will be giving suitable responses. So it is very tricky because there are many questions which are very difficult to answer. So we will discuss all those questions, how to tackle them, how to respond to these questions, and to become successful in that interview. All those things we will take up in the next class. I think for today we will stop here and we will continue in the next class. So thank you for joining. Have a nice afternoon, pleasant afternoon. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank 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 you.